Angels Care Home Health, serving Hayes and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
They're polite. I mean, they just take the time for you.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
I like the Angels for what they've done for me.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.
Eagle Community Television presents Community Connection with your host, Mike Cooper.
Hello and welcome again to Community Connection from Eagle Community Television. Thanks for watching, and thanks as always to our producer, Jeff Durall. You're getting an idea of the beauty of the Fort Hays State University campus. Well, today on our Community Connection, we want to highlight who and what it is that it takes to accomplish this beauty on campus. And joining us today is the Director of Grounds, Jim Schreiber. Jim is also the Custodial Director, and as he says, other services as well at Fort Hays State University.
Definitely.
A laundry list of responsibilities for Jim Schreiber. Jim, first of all, let's talk about the tree that we're standing under, a rather unique part of Fort Hays State history.
You bet, Mike. This is a blue spruce variety. It is the largest one in the state of Kansas. We have that distinction to have that here on our campus. And we were determined, or this was qualified, I think is the word I want to use, with from our past district forester, Jim Strine, did all the work for us. And so it's been several years that it's been the Kansas champion, and we hope it stays that way for a lot of years to come.
I'm glad you mentioned Jim Strine because he has been so instrumental in bringing trees to a treeless environment.
Yes,
basically.
he has. Yes, he has. So we've worked with him a lot in the past, and now I think he's enjoying his retirement. Which is well-deserved, I'm sure.
You still got him on speed dial just in case.
Oh, just in case, you bet. I can get a hold of him if I need him.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim, as Jeff and I tour the campus on a regular basis for our Community Connection program, we are just amazed at the beauty and the quality of the campus. It takes a lot of work to do this. Tell us about the responsibilities, first of all, of the grounds department.
Sure, Mike, yeah. Well, let's start with this time of year, perhaps. You know, we're in the springtime, and so it's the crews are busy mowing because of all the wonderful rain we've had, and also have crews that are planting flower beds in preparation for commencement and things like that. And then, of course, as we move into the summer, we continue to hope for some rain so we can continue to mow. Then, of course, we are looking at how to maintain our flower beds, you know, as far as the weeding and the watering and things like that. And then, of course, the irrigation of the turf on an as-needed basis pretty much fills up the summertime.
And that constant maintenance is something that's got to keep the crews busy.
Oh, definitely, yeah. We have about 11, I think it's 11 full-time staff within the grounds department with one part-time, and we typically employ on the average 4 to 5 student employees throughout the growing season. Wintertime we don't keep but 2 or 3 because we just don't have the need. And so then as we get into the fall season, then we support the athletic department in a variety of ways. And so our one crew is dedicated, spends a lot of time helping with that as far as maintaining the fields and, you know, just overall support of those programs.
You have a full-time staff, but you also are able to engage some of the students then in a part-time basis.
Yeah, we have. In fact, we have been fortunate enough that if we can find students that have an interest in horticulture when they are maybe freshmen or sophomores, and we can keep them on until they finish their education, that's a definite plus for us because they get to know the routine, and it's always fun to work with those kids. They have a lot of enthusiasm most times.
Well, and who knows, you might be training a future extension agent or something like that.
That is so true, yes. Because we have a variety of, you know, a lot of our students will have wide background in what their interests are as far as what they're majoring in and things like that. So a little exposure to a variety of things is always a good thing.
Tell me about some of the challenges that are faced during the different seasons, Jim. Particularly, you mentioned the weeding and the mowing and things during the spring, summer, and early fall areas.
Right.
But also, you've got the challenge of water in semi-arid western Kansas area.
That is so true.
How does that work for you?
Well, again, we rely so much on Mother Nature. Our irrigation system in the quad area is fed by water wells. And of course, we are governed by the Division of Water Resources on how much we can use during one season. And so we have to allocate appropriately and stretch it out if need be, if we don't get that help from Mother Nature. And I think that's probably the biggest challenge the guys have in the summertime. One or two of our gentlemen maintain the irrigation system, and they do a lot of the watering, and so they get frustrated that we don't get enough rain, and that we may run out of water, and that kind of a thing. And so I think in the summer, that is the biggest challenge, of course, in the summertime, is just trying to keep the campus looking good with or without Mother Nature's help.
But once again, just to let people know, you do have regulations that come from the Division of Water Resources.
That is correct.
To make sure that you don't overuse the allocation of water.
Yes, yeah. And we file reports annually with that division of what our water use has been from the previous year. And so it's monitored, all of our wells are monitored and metered.
Now, in that other season, the season with all the snow that may come at a horizontal angle sometimes,
right, exactly,
and may come in, a few flakes or 8 to 10 inches. That presented a challenge here just this last season, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. It definitely did. We are fortunate in that we've got a staff that has some experience. They've been here for some time and know the routine, because we have a prioritized list of how we address that. And that, of course, is our first priority is get the quad open for classes. And then the crew moves down into the residential life area to open that up. And then we move from that point, we go out to the Coliseum in that area. So it takes a little bit of time. And then, of course, when that's all finished, we still have Sternberg out there, and we have some staff that work out there on a permanent basis, and so they really are a benefit in helping with that portion of that snow removal operation. So, the crews, depending upon what the forecast is, our university police are very helpful in that we provide them the 2 or 3 names of gentlemen that they can call when we have a predetermined time frame for that, and I think it's 4 a.m. That they'll get a phone call, the sidewalks are covered or whatever the case may be, and then they'll get brought in and they'll begin the process. If we get a snowstorm during the day and that we can schedule if we know what it's going to do, then a lot of times the crews will be in a little bit earlier than that yet. I think on that storm that we had this year, they were in at 2 a.m. to begin the process. So each one's a little different, and so each one presents its own challenges and opportunities. Let me put it that way.
Oh, that's a good way of stating it, Jim. And also, then it has to be up to the grounds crew and the other officials, law enforcement and such, to determine whether the campus can actually open for business during one of these events.
Right. Yeah. I answer our Vice President of Administration and Finance, Mr. Mike Barnett, and typically he and I will have that discussion around 5 o'clock in the morning or so. And then then I think he contacts Dr. Martin with the recommendations that we have, whether we can, go or no go. And our goal is always to get the campus open if possible.
What about the selection of the ornamentals, the grasses and so forth around the campus? How's that decision made, Jim?
Primarily, we have a gal who manages our greenhouse on campus, and she also is responsible for our flower beds and landscaped areas around campus, she and her crew. And she pretty much makes the decisions as to the species of the flowers and the varieties and the shrubbery and the trees, and sometimes she'll come visit with me and we'll work together, and her immediate supervisor makes some decisions on what type of trees and things we want to plant. So it's pretty much her decision with some little bit outside influence.
What about Jim Schreiber? How in the world what influenced your decision to come into this business, Jim?
We know, interestingly, my wife and I both graduated here. And during
that was the class of, maybe we shouldn't say.
Oh, a few years back.
A few years back.
And so during my time here at the university, I spent a couple of years as a student employee in the grounds department. And then a couple of years after graduation, I just found out that there was an opening in the grounds, and I had enjoyed it as a student. So I applied and was fortunate enough to be awarded that position. And then from there, I guess they say the rest is history. I've served as several different responsibilities throughout that department, then grown to where I'm at now, and so enjoyable place to work.
What about your wife? What area was she in, Jim?
She was a teacher for many, many years here in town, primarily at the time Felton Middle School. She taught for over 30 years and now is enjoying retirement. Perhaps patiently waiting for me, I'm not sure. But she really enjoyed that time with those 6th, 7th, and 8th graders up at Felton.
And I remember many times visiting with her and working with her with student council work and such, with school dances and things there, and just a wonderful individual to work with.
Well, I will definitely let her know that. She always, when I told her the other day that you had contacted me, she said, "Oh, you'll enjoy that. Mike's a great guy."
What about plans for the university as far as the grounds go, Jim? Long-term and short-term. I know you've got some things coming up with the new construction, Scholastic Hall, now the Fort Hays track, and so forth.
Right. Well, in reference to the Hanson Scholarship Hall, of course, that's one item that'll be added to our list of responsibilities, and then, of course, the Wiest replacement. Those two buildings that are currently under construction will also fall under our maintenance, and a lot of times, our grad department doesn't really decide what goes in a lot of those places. They have our input, and then we have architects that help us with that. And then, of course, we have another academic building that's in the process of being bid, I believe, here on campus, and so that'll create some more additional landscaping that we'll be maintaining. And then, of course, we have the new track facility going in out past the bypass. Just getting a good start on that, so there'll be some turf and trees and things out there that we'll be able to maintain too. So never a dull moment.
Always busy.
Always busy.
In addition to the grounds crew, of course, you mentioned custodial crew.
Correct.
So again, inside those buildings, and of course the outside appearance as well, the custodial crew really brings a real fine touch to the university and the appearance of the campus, Jim.
Oh, I agree. Our staff, both in the academic area and the residential life area, I think take a lot of pride in their work and understand that with all the visitors that we have to campus when they come in those buildings, the importance of those, to shine a little bit, to be clean and comfortable. And I think our crews do a great job, take a lot of pride in what they do, which I think is obvious by the appearance of our buildings.
No doubt about it, and all of us enjoy the beauty of the campus, regardless of what the season is, thanks to the work of the crew of Jim Schreiber, Director of Grounds, Custodial, and Other Services, as Jim said. As you possibly heard in the background, Lane Weaver and the Tiger Marching Band are out on a beautiful day on campus of Fort Hays State University. Jim Schreiber, our community connection.
Angels Care Home Health, serving Hays and the surrounding areas, is a Medicare-certified home health agency providing quality skilled nursing and restorative therapy services to patients in their homes.
And the Angel Care nurse comes to see me once a week.
Angels Care is there to help 24 hours a day, and all services are covered 100% by Medicare for patients who are eligible.
Angel Care has helped to stay home.
Angels Care Home Health. We serve patients.